The Tecno Pop 10 is one of the best smartphones you can get right now for just 100,000 naira. With features so impressive, they absolutely destroyed its predecessor, the Pop 9. But the similarly priced Redmi A5 claims to be much better, whilst also being slightly cheaper. So in this video, I'm going to be putting both phones across these 7 categories right here to see which one is actually better, so you don't end up buying the wrong phone. Let's begin with the design and build quality. At first glance, both phones look a little bit identical, courtesy of that camera placement. Whilst the Pop 10 went and directly copied the design of the iPhone 16, the Redmi looks sillier with that extra layer, which in my opinion shouldn't even exist. I could even argue that it's in fact a worse design than its predecessor, the A3X, which came with a much better circular model. I bet that's why they abandoned the A4.
Stop the cap!
As for the build quality, one thing I think is really mind-blowing is how durable budget phones are becoming. For context, both of these phones are priced around 100 to 105,000 naira, and they are very durable. They can both survive drops of about 1.5 meters and also come with IP rating. But this is one area where one phone finally gets ahead. The Redmi A5 comes with IP54 splash-proof rating, which is very good for the price. However, the Pop 10, with its better resisting IP64 waterproof rating, it's much better, so it clearly takes the first point of this comparison. And if you are enjoying this video, then kindly leave a like and smash that subscribe button right now for more videos just like this one. Thank you. So the build quality is great. What about the external features? Well, both phones are similar in a few areas. They both sport a side-mounted fingerprint scanner for security, as well as a headphone jack, thank God. But there are still some major differences. Whilst Tecno Pop 10 comes with an IR blaster disguised as a secondary camera, I see you, the Redmi A5 doesn't, which is quite confusing as Redmi has had a quite long history with IR blasters. And the speakers, neither of these two phones come with stereo speakers, but the Pop 10's dual speaker setup is much louder and much better than the Redmi speakers. So yet again, the Pop 10 snatches the point. Okay, fine, onto the display. Which one has the better screen? Both phones come with a 720p IPS panel with a 120Hz refresh rate. They have bezels as you expect. But whilst the Pop 10 comes with the modern hole punch cutout, the Redmi A5 comes with the old outdated teardrop notch, just like Samsung. But apart from that, they are still relatively the same. They are both sharp, vivid and color accurate. Whilst consuming content, both are very impressive and look pretty good for the price. They are both not usable for outdoor conditions because of the underwhelming 450 nits of brightness. And if you were to say which is actually better between them, I'd personally go with the Pop 10 because of that hole punch cutout. But it doesn't really mean it's a better one than that of the Redmi. So in this category, it ends up as a draw. Now, we go to the performance. Which one is better at handling day-to-day tasks? Initially, I was expecting another case of differences. However, this time, there's basically no difference. Both phones are powered by the Nusokti 7250, which means that they will perform about the same way. But don't be upset because for the price, this chipset is more than good. Whatever you are doing, whether browsing, scrolling content, or even gaming moderately, this chipset is more than enough to handle whatever you throw at it. Just let it be the variant with the highest RAM option and you'll do just fine. So, a draw yet again in this category. Now, before we talk about the software, I want to make something very clear. Good performance doesn't mean a good user experience, because if the software sucks, then performance doesn't even matter. So which one has the better software? The Tecno Pop 10 runs on iOS 15 slapped on Android 15, whilst the Redmi runs on HyperOS slapped on Android 15 Go edition. Both user interfaces are well designed with minimal bloatware, and in this area, there was so much overlap it was hard for me to properly judge initially. For one, the Android 15 Go edition is a lighter version of the regular stock Android version, so it lacks some modest features like the AI features as well as the free link, which is available on the Pop 10. But on the Pop 10's end, it doesn't have support as much as the Redmi does. Yes, you heard that right. This Redmi A5 can apparently support 2 years of Android updates, which means that whilst the Pop 10 remains stuck at Android 15, this one can go up to Android 17 Go edition, which is fine. So rightfully, this category still ends up as a draw, and the Tecno might just start cementing its lead, but there's still hope. That leads us to the battery. Which one lasts longer and which one charges faster? Well, the Tecno Pop 10 comes with the standard 5000 mAh cell, whilst the Redmi comes with a much larger 5200 mAh battery. And when it comes to charging, both phones come with 15W fast charging, which is fine for the price. Though both phones can still last the entire day on a single charge, I'd still give the point to the Redmi, citing it has a much bigger battery. And here we are onto the final category. the cameras. The Tecno Pop 10 comes with a quite underwhelming 13MP camera, whilst the Redmi brings a much better 32MP camera. Though both phones come with an 8MP selfie camera and shoots at 1080p on both cameras, the Redmi takes this final point for having a much better main camera. Wow. So having compared both phones, which one is actually better between them? Well, initially I thought that Tecno was going to demolish the Redmi in all aspects, but somehow Redmi still tied it down, and that means one thing, that for a price of around 100,000, both phones are still pretty recommendable. It all just boils down to your own preferences. To check out my full review of either of the Tecno Pop 10 or the Redmi A5, click any card on the screen right now and I'll tell you all about it.